What's up, guys? It's Austin Rutherford back with another episode of Elevate Your Life podcast. Today we're here with my man Mike McGovern, and he's here local to Columbus, Ohio. Been trying to get into real estate here for the last few months. Building, scaling, doing different things. Hopefully today we're going to bring some clarity as far as the direction that somebody like possibly yourself looking to get into real estate, could have similar questions. So. Today we're going to be talking about how to get into the game and how to get your first deal and then scale from that point forwards. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button as well if you want more content like this in the future. And any questions, any comments you have, definitely drop those below as well, so I can get those responses to you. Mike, my man, appreciate you being here, bro.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Sure. Just tell them about yourself. Kind of tell them where you're at in the game. We'll go from there.
Yeah, so I started getting into real estate probably, like I said, probably like 6, 7, 8 months ago. I've started in, reading, what it is, trying to figure the system out. And then I started getting into mentorships to really try to focus in and try to figure out the system side of it to learn it. Like I said, I'm probably five months of steady learning.
Yep.
The last 2 months have been really, getting systems implemented, kind of getting the marketing side set up. So pretty much where I'm at now is the point where, we've got some systems together, some workflows together.
Yep.
I've had a few things under contract, had it fall through. So now it's really trying to dial down it and creating those systems and finding that niche.
Yep.
To kind of target, especially being, a smaller business and starting out. It's hard to compete with the people that can put on really, good marketing and things like that and have the referrals, and obviously that comes with time. So that's kind of where I'm at myself, is I think awesome. That, kind of hitting that point of, all right, how do small fish in a big pond, how do you,
get rolling?
Get rolling, yeah.
Absolutely. We all go through those times. Getting started, you don't know what to look for. You don't know the numbers, you don't know what buyers are looking for. But something you learn over time. The more you get into it, the more deals you sell, then you know what people are looking for. So we've all been in that circumstance before, for sure. So I guess biggest struggle right now, what would that be?
My biggest struggle right now, I think, is really, like I said, dialing in that niche and finding, the motivated sellers that, haven't talked to 5 or 6 people by the time you get to them. You know what I mean? Being able to have, meeting sellers that you can actually build a genuine relationship with. Because it seems like, for me, a lot of times with the marketing thing that we have going, and by the time we're getting to someone, they've been hit 3, 4 times, if not more than that. And then they're right out the gate, they're like, "Are you wholesaling?
Yep.
What are you doing?" We're working with a lady right now where she won't even answer a phone call, barely responds to a text message, but it's like, "Hey, I have my house at 40,000. If you want it, you can have it."
Gotcha.
So it's kind of that communication side is definitely. I think that's where we're at, where we're kind of struggling at, or myself is struggling, is just kind of, how do I start to generate things that haven't been touched by everybody?
No, absolutely. Especially in this age, this market, everybody and their mom wants to be a real estate investor. It's probably one of the most competitive markets we're in. But, especially right now with the coronavirus going on, a lot of people are pulling out of wanting to be in real estate. Because they're scared, they're nervous, they're pulling their marketing budgets. So we've had the same experience. We've had, we've called a seller and they've talked to 10 other people. Mm-hmm. They have 40 postcards sitting on their desk. So we're all experiencing it right now. I think the good thing is more people won't be in the game 3 months from now. So stay consistent, first thing, because it'll start opening up. But as far as the leads and who you're talking to, the bigger the list and the easier the list is to get, the more people that are going to be, doing it, or marketing towards it. So the absentee list, the high equity lists, the unknown lists, those are the big lists that everybody buys and everybody cold calls. The more niche lists, getting a probate list from the county site. Mm-hmm. Every county, there's a way to get a probate list. Getting a foreclosure list from the county, because that's brand new data. A lot of these people you buy data from is data months late. Mm-hmm. So if you can pull it directly from the site, most people don't want to do that. Most people, the big dogs, don't want to go down to the courthouse every day and pull a list. So the more direct you can get to people, the better. And most of the time, usually the best way to get into the business for somebody new that doesn't have a massive marketing budget is driving for dollars. You know, it sounds corny, but like we made, I think we made $450,000 last year off driving for dollar campaigns, and these are campaigns that we did years ago. We just kept mailing.
And with that too, I mean, when you're doing your drive for dollars, I mean, you know, it's not always looking for houses that are slummed houses. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of where a lot of, you know, new investors or people getting into the business kind of get stuck on, and myself as well. I kind of went out there, I'm looking for an abandoned property. Well, that abandoned property, everybody that drives by there sees that that's an abandoned property and knows that, right? So I think, you know, what is a good thing to look for as far as, you know, not just, because there's, you know, in this game, it's not just, you know, falling down, dump house. I mean, you could have someone that has $1 million house that falls back on a mortgage payment that can't make it, and they're going to lose it. You know what I mean? It's all about problem solving. So it's really you know, how do you, I guess, what's your best way to go about looking for those properties?
Absolutely, great question. So when I used to do it back in the day, I'd have my buddy ride with me, and I'd just like buy him lunch or something when I was first starting out, because it's hard to drive and ride at the same time. So I would look at the left side, he would look at the right side, and he would write everything down, and we'd just name the numbers of the house addresses. And I would name some addresses, and he would be like, why? It looks fine. I said, man, if I even get a twinkle that I think I'm gonna make money on the deal, I'm writing the freaking address down. So like if a house is, you know, brand new roof, brand new windows, beautifully landscaped yard, you know, that's not a house we're mailing to. But like if they have an older roof, or they have, you know, maybe a crack in a window, or the landscaping's not done, or the grass isn't mowed, or the snow's not plowed, or the trash can's overflowing, any small incentive that I would think somebody would be motivated, we're mailing those people. So we bought like houses that
people weren't even thinking about getting rid of,
and they look great.
And
they need maybe $5,000 of work, but we bought them, you know, 70 cents on the dollar. So it's a great question. You know, I used to only do the boarded up houses, but we look for anything, any opportunity whatsoever, we'll mail.
And that's a good point too. Like I said, I think that's where, you know, myself, when I started doing the driving for dollars, say I'm driving around, I'm like, man, I can't, you know, everyone is looking at the same house thing, you know. And another thing too, I think, is finding, you know, how did you pick your, you know, neighborhood? You know, obviously I watched your, you know, Buying the Block YouTube thing, which, I mean, and that makes sense too, because basically you can, and I think that the more you get into a neighborhood, you grow it, and you kind of can almost build a referral base out of that neighborhood as well as you grow. You know, how did you pick that? You know, how did you decide that, you know, that was where you were kind of going to put your focus on?
No, absolutely. It wasn't thought like that. It just kind of happened and turned out like that. So like we have driving for dollars. So basically we screenshot a map on Google Earth of a neighborhood that we want to, and then we literally take that map and drive it and cross out the streets as we go. And I have like driving for dollars maps for probably 7 or 8 different zip codes here in Columbus, and the whole zip code, like the entire thing. So like we have like thousands and thousands and thousands of driving for dollars people that we mail to and that we call. So like another thing, most people will drive for $1 and write down 20 addresses and think that they did something. Like I'll have thousands of addresses. It'll take me 10 hours just to scrape the list and go to the auditor website. So you got to have more data. More data you get, the better. And then, so I did it for all the neighborhoods, really all the transitioning neighborhoods, anything that was in part of like a gentrification, because there's a lot of messed up houses still. So you can buy on, you know, lower end, and then you can sell on the higher end because there's comps there. So we did it for every area like that here in the city of Columbus. And it gave us a lot of data. And then, you know, it kind of geared us towards, you know, the Old Town East area. There's just a lot of opportunity. And we did a couple down there, and I was down there every day. You know, I used to run the jobs. Like I used to manage all the GCs when we rehab it and stuff. So I was there every day, you know, running material, driving up and down the street. And I would just literally drive down the street like, oh, cool, that house looks messed up too. Let me call them. We'd buy like, I did have one street, I did like 5 houses on one block. So you just kind of get into it once you get into it. But, you know, don't centralize yourself in one area for driving for dollars. Like one neighborhood, you're only going to get 10, 20, 30 names. But if you do like a whole zip code and multiple zip codes, then you get thousands of data.
And that's kind of how, you know, myself, that I basically bought a big map. put it on a wall in my bedroom.
Yep.
And I'll just look on there and be like, all right, now I want to go to 43201. Here's a street, and just kind of, but it seems like a lot of times, I think when you start out, that you kind of have like a shotgun business plan, right? You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm trying to learn to dial in on something rather than doing everything at one time.
Yeah.
And I think that was something where you get hung up on a lot too, because you hear, right, everyone's saying drive for dollars, do marketing on this, probate list, and so all of a sudden you're just like, you're trying everything, but then you really can't dial it down to like what's working for you, so that you can pick it.
It's shiny object syndrome. I still run into it today. It's not marketing campaigns, it's like business opportunities.
Yeah.
But like, oh, let me try that. Oh, that works too. Oh, crap, let me do this as well. But you can never be great in one thing. One thing that for the entire almost 6 years I've been investing, not 1 week, not a single one have I ever missed sending out direct mail, ever. Yeah. Every week for the last 6 years I've sent out direct mail. Like that's my like staple. That's how I got started. I focused on that and continue to do it. And we've added things since then because our budget has grown. But agreed, you got to pick something. Like if you love to cold call, cold call. If you love to door knock, door knock. If you don't love to do that, send direct mail. You know what I mean? But you definitely have to choose something, especially if it's just you just getting started. You got to focus on something and just go all in on it. Like driving for dollar, like go door knock. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the most pleasant. There's going to be a lot of people that slam the door in your face, but that's the best way to get in front of somebody.
And when I actually, so I'm originally from Wheeling, West Virginia. When I moved up here, I was working in coal mines, and I was an operator technician at a gas plant and everything like that. So when I came here, I had no sales experience or anything like that. And the first job I took was doing door-to-door sales for AEP Energy. And it's like same thing. I mean, you get a lot of doors thrown in your face, and I wish I could have been into real estate back in those days, because man, the opportunities I was like forced to come upon, But yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense too, is really just trying to dial that in, because like I said, I know myself, and I'm already kind of like squirrel brained. I mean, I want everything, a little bit of everything. For sure. So I think that's huge, just kind of in figuring out how to dial that down then.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, again, just one other touch on that, we'll move on to the next thing, but you got to get niche, like you said. You can go broad, and we buy deals from absentee lists, all the time, but there's a lot of competition. Get creative with it. If you want to get like an eviction list from your own county, if you want to get a probate from your own county, if you want to get a vacant list from your own county, if you want to get a tax lien list from your own county, those are the types of lists that people, like everybody isn't mailing. There's a lot of people virtual in Columbus right now, meaning they live in different states and they're trying to wholesale here. They're not going to the county and getting those lists.
Now, you think it's better to going down there, or is that something you can pull up online to pull that list up? Ways you can do it. Okay.
So here you can get most of them online. Some of them you got to go down and get still. But get creative, go to eviction court and hand out postcards to all the people that just had to evict their tenants. There's probably some motivation there. You know what I mean? Find a way to get in front of the people that really have the true motivation. Because I promise you, people are not, the big dogs, quote unquote, are not doing the small things. And that's where you can kind of build some traction and then, get into the blast marketing.
And I think a lot of people, it's easy to say, well, there's so many people doing it. I don't have the chance. But the thing is, dude, you got 1 million people in the inner city of Columbus. That's what I keep telling myself every time I get frustrated. I'm like, but you can't. There's so many people out there. I got a guy next to me that's selling his house, and I've been on him since September to try to sell me this thing. And he's put signs up on it, let the signs blow away and fall off, and doesn't have a cell phone number to reach out to him. And I mean, how many people out there are like that they want to have something to get rid of, but it's just they're waiting for the person to come through and ask them. Really, it's just about that question.
I mean, there's competition. Great question. A lot of people are scared by it. There's always going to be competition. There's never going to be a perfect time. And there's hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of houses that sell for cash in Columbus every single month. All you need is 1% of that. If you can do 1 to 10 deals a month, you can have a very successful career. So you don't have to go out there and buy 1,000 houses a month. Like you get 1, 2, 3 houses, you can easily hit 6 figures if you do it the right way.
And with that too, I mean, do you kind of seem that as you get in and you get a rhythm, you obviously kind of build, deals come to you in a sense as well, right? I mean, you probably have that a lot because you have your name, the credibility, and people that and you've helped out and whatnot. So kind of once you get to that point, you keep your consistent marketing up, but you also kind of have stuff, the low-hanging fruit that kind of comes to you as you establish that.
Absolutely. That's been one of the coolest things that's kind of happened over the last year or two. You know, I used to never post on. We connected through Instagram.
So one of my buddies connected me with you, and that's how I found you.
Yeah.
Exactly, Instagram.
So I used to never post anything on Instagram. Never used to take any pictures, any videos, nothing. But if you look at my Instagram now today, like I'm just sitting here on Instagram all day long. But one of my mentors pushed me. He's like, I promise you the payoff from that, you're not going to see it day one. You're not going to see it day two. You're not even going to see it month 6. But like long term, that payoff's insane. Yeah. So like now, we literally just get deals handed to us. So we got a call yesterday. It's a deal we'll probably make $35,000 on. Another deal in a day, we made $7,500 on. So it's just, you know, once you build that brand and you follow through with your commitments and your word, if you say you're going to close, you're going to close. You know, people trust you and they start bringing you deals. So building a brand, putting out good energy into the world, networking. Like I went to every real estate investor association at the beginning, every single one. Even if they sucked, I went to all of them. Every night I was at a meeting just networking with people. But all that stuff pays off in the long term.
Yeah, it's definitely, and that's, you know, for myself, since I've come to Columbus, I mean, I didn't have friends, family, nothing up here when I came here. So everything that I've done has just been networking. You know, I'm like the kind of guy, I'm a squeaky wheel. I mean, same way I got here today. You know what I mean? I continuously like messaging on Instagram and like, you know, with stance and everything like that. I mean, that's the kind of guy I am. Like I'll force myself into, but that's what you got to do, I think, man. And it's so important that, you know, because a lot of times, you know, if you force yourself into things and not just try to take value from everybody, but figure out how you can provide value to a person too. And, you know, that's how people kind of lead. They see that energy from you and they're like, oh, man, this guy might have something I can, you know, it might not be present at the moment, but they can see that drive in you that, you know, they're willing to give you a little help because they know it's going to be paid back as well.
100%. Gary Vee said it best. He said, jab, 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 then right hook. Yeah. Give, and then ask for something. Like, you know, we've been on Instagram. Like, this is our first time meeting in person. And we've been on Instagram. Like, you've reached out to me. You said, hey, you should try this out. Hey, this would be a really cool video. Like, you've given a lot of value. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just human nature. You want to give back. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. When I give so much value on the internet, it's human nature. People want to give back. You know what I mean?
No, 100%, man.
But you said it correctly. Like, you have to lead with value, though. If you lead with an ask, like if you're trying to get into the good people, good circles, meet the right people and stuff, if you call them and say, yo, I need money, or yo, send me every deal, or like some dumb stuff, they're not going to want to do anything with you. But if you lead with value, like you said, it always comes back full circle.
100%. I mean, even the situation that we're in right here, I mean, I knew Stanton from when I first moved here. Met him through a friend that I knew up here. We did a little podcast on my couch probably 2 years ago. In the living room of my couch, we had a podcast. And when I seen, you know, I didn't even know you personally, but I had seen you put something about looking for a content guy. And I reached out to Stanton and I was like, hey, man, listen, like,
did you connect us?
Yeah, I connected you guys.
Oh, that's wild.
I had, and I had no idea who you were. I mean, other than you know, just your social media. But I was like, hey, dude, listen, like, I don't know this guy, but he looks like a guy that's a successful person, has a lot going for him. Like, this could be a good thing for you to maybe get involved with him because it's kind of good. He was looking for, you know, that direction himself to see where. You know, that's what I told him. I was like, yeah, you help a lot of people out. He was doing videos for me in the gym and friends in the gym. I was like, but you need someone that can kind of. Now it's your turn to kind of get back a little bit and somebody can guide you a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. So now I'm here on the podcast. So that's really cool.
It always comes back full circle, bro.
So I got another good question. I would say, you know, when it comes to, you know, we've talked about kind of the marketing side of it and, you know, building that up and your networking. When it came to you as finding, you know, your buyers. Or your investors, you know, what's that, you know, what is the direction that you took on that? Was it just kind of, you know, reaching out? You know, what I've done is I'll put Facebook posts out, Instagram posts out, like who's invested in Ohio, who's invested in Columbia, you know, just to try to figure out how to meet these people and get in front of people.
Absolutely. So phenomenal question. Half of the problem is getting the deal. And the other half of the problem is connecting.
Like I said, I've had 3 of them that I couldn't, you know, I couldn't find a buyer on. So,
so no, phenomenal question. So kind of 2-part answer. So like investors and buyers, like private money is kind of a different conversation, but that in and of itself is just talking to people. So if you want to renovate houses, you need the money to do it. So that is just knowing how private money works and presenting the opportunity to people. But that's like a whole other conversation. So I'm assuming you're asking like wholesale buyers. So investors that want to rehab houses. Which is half the battle. So the best ways of doing it is doing deals, then you meet them. But before that, you got to meet them beforehand. So there's a lot of like really good ways. Like I meet a lot of people at the local real estate investors associations. When I got started, I would go there. Anybody sitting in the chair normally is not doing deals, you want to go to the back of the room because all like the guys that are doing deals all talk together, standing in the back of the room. So you want to go back there and network with those people.
Yeah.
But I met a lot of people that way. Going down. So Franklin County used to have sheriff's sale every Friday in person. So going down there, people bidding on properties are buyers. You know what I mean? So that if your city or your county has something like that, it's a great way to meet buyers. Facebook has been phenomenal for us. Here in Columbus, there's like 2 or 3 different groups for off-market deals. So we'll go in there, and if somebody posts a deal and then somebody comments on it, we'll message them off not on the thread. We'll just message them like, hey, I see you're interested in property 123 East Main Street. What are you looking for? Can I get your email address? So then we're building a list. So when we do get a deal, we can blast, instead of calling 5 people, we call 2,000 people.
Yeah.
And then when you get a deal, posting it on Facebook, hella people will reach out. Same thing. What are you looking for? Here's the opportunity. If this doesn't work, what else are you looking for? So Facebook is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the era that we live in, social media, great on social media. And one of the biggest last things is it's like cold calling. So if you have access to the MLS, you can pull cash comps. So if you get a property, in 43206, and you can pull cash comps to see what investors bought with cash in that same neighborhood, and then you call them. You can either call their realtor.
Write that down. Yeah.
You can either call their realtor, and you might have some trouble explaining what wholesaling is.
Yeah.
So you can also go to the auditor and see who the purchasing person is. And if it's an individual, you can skip trace them. If it's an LLC, you can go to the state of Ohio, a state of whatever, and search the LLC, and it'll tell you who incorporated the LLC. And sometimes it'll be attorneys. They're not going to give you any information, but some people incorporate for themselves, and then that's the owner, and that's who you want to call. So you can do that through cash comps on the MLS, or you can do it through Redfin as well. So Redfin doesn't tell you it's cash comps, but we go in and we look for messed up houses, destroyed houses, and we assume that investors are buying those houses. So then we look to see who bought them, and then we cold call those people. So that's like, those are real buyers.
Yeah.
Facebook, like there's a lot of jokers on Facebook.
A lot of jokers.
Networking meetups, there's a lot of jokers at the networking meetups. But if you can call somebody that just bought a house, like they're legit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a secret way of finding more buyers as well. And those are the best buyers.
Yeah, and the big thing too is it's just putting yourself out there. I think is the biggest thing, and asking questions. I know that I'd had a deal that I was looking at for do a first fix and flip on.
Yeah.
I don't really have private money. Don't really know a lot of people up here.
Yeah.
And we ended up not going through on the deal just because once we got there, there's going to be too much work to be involved.
Gotcha.
But I spent a whole week just calling people
For buyers?
for money to find investment, right? And it was, and nothing came out of it, but I probably built 3 or 4 good relationships and opportunities out of that by just asking.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Putting yourself out there, and I think that I had to change my frame of mind to think that I'm honestly giving them an opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of times I think you feel like you're begging people when you're asking for money, but you have to rethink that. You're offering them 8, 10, 12% interest off of a loan that you're getting all borrowed off them. They're not getting that through a stock.
No.
You know what I mean? So I think that was a big thing too, because I'll be like, man, don't you feel like a peasant, asking for money? I'm like, if I looked at it like I'm begging, then I am. But if I look at it like, hey man, I'm trying to, build a relationship with a person and give them opportunity to make money as well.
100%, bro. I mean, private money, you can go way down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But the biggest mind shift for me, from when I started to now, is knowing that it is an opportunity of a lifetime. And I truly, genuinely believe I'm doing a disservice by not telling somebody about the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I've retired people. I've had people handwrite me letters thanking me for retiring them. I got goosebumps just saying that, but think about that. Like being able to do that for somebody, and you make money, a lot of money with it. It's true. Unless you're like an active day trader, it's very, very, very difficult to get the same type of opportunity that you're presenting to these people. So it's not an ask. It's an opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And if they don't want it, I'm like, screw them. On to the next. Like, it's your loss.
Yeah, and that's huge. And I think that, and I was honestly at one of your meetups that he would mention that, and that was something that like really settled with me, because the whole time I'm thinking like, how do you ask these people for money? And then you said like, dude, you ain't asking people, you're giving people opportunity. If they don't want it, all right, I'll give the next person the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely, bro.
So another question, I guess, will kind of be, out of the wholesaling side of it, get into the investment side of it. When you're looking at houses, do you have a certain type of fix and flip house that you prefer? Is there a type of style that, like, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,600 square foot, a house that you have an idea of, like, all right, we can come in, some of the mentors and stuff that I've worked with, they have certain style duplexes or certain style single families that they come in and they're like, hey man, I know that I can get this all done. If we got to do a full gut everything, we're in and out 30,000 and we're done.
That's the craziest thing I've heard. Like when wholesalers call me, like, hey, are you buying? Yeah. Okay, well, what are you looking for? Any property that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, how many beds? How many bathrooms? You want a backyard? How about the roof? How many windows do you want in the house? Like, does it matter? You know what I mean?
You're looking for a deal.
Exactly. So like people will like define themselves like, I need a house between $80,000 and $100,000, 3 bed, 1 bath. Like, okay, well, what if a house for $150,000 come in and you can make twice the amount of money, but you just get rid of it because it's not in your little circle?
Yeah.
No, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And like, it kind of goes back to shiny object syndrome. You don't necessarily have to do that opportunity, but you need to know somebody you can connect that opportunity with and still get paid from it. Because if you connect somebody to money, then they can pay you part of that money. You know what I mean? So having like one defined thing, I think is stupid.
Yeah.
So we take any opportunity. We buy rental properties, we flip, we wholesale, we do new construction. So as long as there's a lot of money to be made on the deal,
you're in.
I'm good. So yeah, and if you're a starting wholesaler, don't call buyers and ask how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many square feet. Ask like what zip codes and ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
Like for us, we look to make minimum 15 to 20%. So like now if it's a $200,000 house, we want to make minimum $30,000 to $40,000 in profit.
Yeah.
Those are the only numbers that matter.
And I think that's true with most investors, is kind of stick to that 15 to 20% range.
Yeah.
So as a wholesaler, you need to figure out, what your reconstruction is going to cost on it and things like that. So you can actually offer them that versus, because I know a lot of, programs do teach, get out there, ask these buyers what they want. That way you have a person for every one of them. But, I'm kind of thinking it from the aspect like, if someone brings me an opportunity, I can make money on it. I don't care if it's 5 bedrooms or 1 bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, so we sell to hedge funds, and like hedge funds have very specific criteria. 3 bed, 1 bath, here's the square footage, here's the year built. Like very stringent requirements. And like, you need to have those people, but everybody's not like that. The only people I've ever found like that are hedge funds. If they're not a hedge fund, they just want to make money. So yeah, you can't get tied down into something like that.
Yeah. Okay, like that. Rental properties. Do you also have rental properties? I'm assuming as well. I mean, do you have a certain like amount of units you're trying to keep to? Do you go more towards single families? You go more towards duplex? Multifamily apartment units? What's your take on that? I'm a big Grant Cardone guy. Yeah. So he talks. If you've read it, his real estate book, he's like, buy a 38 unit apartment, you're good to go. Obviously not everybody can start out like that. So
I own rental properties. It'd be a lot easier to show on a spreadsheet, but I want to buy a property, renovate it, and refinance it, and have $0 out of pocket. So if I buy it for 40 and I put 30,000 into it, $70,000, and it's worth 100, I can refinance at 70% and pull all my money out. So that's the goal with buying rental properties, and then I want minimum 1/3 of my income to be profit. So after all expenses, it brings in $1,000 a month. After all expenses, I want to net, $333 a month, roughly. All deals aren't that great, but that's kind of what triggers us to look into it deeper. A lot easier to show on a spreadsheet, but as deals come in, like people always ask, like, well, do you wholesale or do you flip? Or no, we're on the front end. We get the deals, and then we figure out the best strategy. So as long as the deal is a deal, you can find a way to make money on it. Just to recap, I know we talked about, marketing, is the more niche of the list that you can get to, the better it is versus a big blanket list that everybody can buy. So get into some sort of niche list: eviction, vacants, probates, tax liens, tax defaults, anything like that. Get into those. And then, do something. Don't do direct mail, RVM, SMS, cold calling, PPC, and bandit signs, because you're going to get distracted and you're not going to follow through with it. So choose something and stay very, very consistent with it. If you do cold calling, make 500 calls a day, every single day, no matter what happens. And then that, will slowly get you into the game. So that's the biggest way of getting started. Definitely appreciate you being here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
So if you guys enjoyed this at all, Make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button as well if you want more content like this in the future. And any questions, any comments you have, definitely drop those below as well, so I can get those responses to you. Again, thank you for being here, brother.
Appreciate it, man. And anyone that's find me on Instagram or whatever as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Where can they find
McGovern19, so it's McGovern19.
We'll drop that on the screen too.
Yeah.
Instagram the best way?
Yep, that's the best way.
There it is, McGovern19, brother.
Appreciate you guys.